Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you on Thursday, November the 18th. The year is 2021. Let's talk trading. Indicators. TRO spread alert. This video is for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. So, the TRO spread alert. It's in the MT4 motherlode over there on Crestlick.com. Simple indicator. Really not much to do in the inputs. You can put limits on here so you know if the spread is above or below. Now, let's see here. We've had a minimum spread so far of 1.0 and a max of 1.8. So maybe what we want to do is set this to 2.0 and spread minimum 0.9. So that way we'll get alerted if the spread goes out of that range. So when you first load it up, it's going to take a while for you to give you a min and a max because it stores these dynamically. And if you switch the chart or the chart period, it's not going to remember these. Once again, it's dynamic. Or you might want to call it volatile. But it tells you what the bid and ask are, same as if you hit the Alt-T button. Tells you what the current spread is, and then the minimum spread that it's seen and the maximum spread that it's seen. And how this can help you is if something, if this all of a sudden turns magenta or whatever alert color you choose, you know something out of the norm, out of the usual is happening. So you can see right now spread's pretty much 1.1 was a low there, so 1.3. So let's see, does it go below the 1.0? Not quite. So when you get that alert, you know something could be up. And hopefully when you get the alert, you're not stuck in a trade, or you're not in a trade and wind up being stuck because of something crazy that the broker's doing with the price. And a lot of times right before the news, you'll see this happen also. You'll see something display, and you can change the size, which corner you can position it, you can change the font and things like that. So and if you don't want the bid and ask to change every time price is moving, you can set that to false, and then you get the default color. And you may have noticed when I reset that indicator how the minimum changed. So once again, if you switch time frames, see, it just changed as the so right now when it starts out, everything, it's the min and the max, and then as it changes, you can see this change. So the other thing is, you might, when you're trading, you might be able to use this to time your trades too, especially if you're watching how the spread is changing, and where you might get in at a little bit, a point or two better price. And let's just hit the reset button. And once again, on this spread alert, the default is something under 2 pips. So let's change that back to 1 pip. So I know this isn't really an earth-shaking indicator or anything like that, but some people like it. They like to see what the spread is and the min and the max as they're trading. I don't use it as often as I used to, um, but it can still come in handy. In fact, I've kind of made an interesting discovery, but I probably won't talk about it till next week because it'll probably be, or maybe the week after, it'll be part of the new indicator uh, package. Um, or the new indicator package, be part of the next batch of the donationals. So, if you have any questions about the TRO spread alert, just let me know and I will answer them. Now, let's see. I had a question yesterday via email. A trader said that, they didn't have any problem pulling the trigger on entry, but they were just getting all fouled up in the exits. And I say, well, take 1 pip. Learn the trade and just take one single pip. And that's, of course, including spread and commission. So, if it has to move 2 pips for you to get your 1 pip, let it go 2 pips and then take it. And what you can then do is just keep track. How many times were you successful? And you say, okay, after 10 trades, did you win all 10? Did you win 9 out of 10? And maybe if you're just going to take a pip, you'll have to decide what your stop loss is. Maybe it's 5, maybe it's 3. You decide. But when you're testing, I mean, you could just trade a dime a pip and you could, basically risk, $10 just to do the experiment. You could have a 10 pip stop. And so you'll lose 10 pips versus winning one. And of course, that's not a good ratio. But when you're learning, um, it's a different story. And you have to have money on the line. Even like I said, even a dime a pip, something to get your hand shaking and your heart thumping. Because if you do it in demo, it doesn't count. Because as soon as you put money on the line, everything changes. Because it goes back into psychology. You know, most basketball players in practice can hit a free throw, but can they hit that free throw, when the game's on the line? They need to hit one free throw and they win the championship. All of a sudden their palms sweat, their hands start shaking because what they're doing is they're thinking about, what happens if I miss, as opposed to thinking, okay, bounce the ball, spin it, focus on the back of the rim, follow through, and thinking about the process they need to go through to make the foul shot. See, the problem is when you're in practice, you're not really concerned all that much about the outcome of did you make the shot or didn't you. But when you're in the game, you, all of a sudden you start thinking about that. So, and it's really hard to focus on what you need to focus on, which is the process. So in trading, it's the same thing. In fact, I was talking to Walmart earlier, and I was saying how, there's a difference between managing the trade when you're, trading via the chart versus trading via your profit loss or money. And what'll happen is, to me, I got in a trade and I was up, I don't know, a pip or so, and I didn't exit, even though one of the reasons to exit appeared on my screen. But I was thinking, no, because of where price is, blah, 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 it should continue. I want the bigger run. Well, of course, it went against me. So then I averaged in. And basically, I was taking these higher low, lower high trades off the 1 minute chart here. Let me think. Let me go over to my actual chart. This is the chart that I usually trade off of. Let me see if I can find where it happened. I think it was here. What happened was I got in there and I didn't take my pip. I'm not sure if that was the one or not. I think that this one was the one. Anyway, so it went against me. So right here at these little blue diamonds, that's the high or low trigger. So I got in again, and I had an opportunity to get out of both trades with a win, and I didn't do it. So it came down a third time I averaged in, and then I punched out here, and of course it ran. And so, because what happened is I didn't take this, so now I'm in a loss. Now I'm thinking I want my money back. And then I go in again, then I go, oh, but I'm still thinking it's going to take that run up, but it didn't. And so, and then it did it again. So the third time I'm exiting, and I think I even said this thing was going to go to 90 something. It stopped here at 80. So I was wrong on that call. But the point is that as opposed to having one simple strategy, one simple like take a pip, exit strategy, and then if you get into trouble, as soon as you can get out, at break even or pip better, get out. I violated that rule. And so then on the third time, which I said usually three's the charm, it's usually about maybe the third time on these reversals where it really picks up and makes the run. And then what was it? Last hour we had some news. Price came all the way down here, ran up, came back down into that zone again. Gave you a second time to enter. Ran all the way up, hit this zone. Oh, by the way, this skull, that's idiot mode on the scalper, and I put that on so it would tell me to not trade, because what that skull does, it blocks these the candle so I can't see, and so I usually won't do anything stupid. I won't trade outside of the parameters, because one of the things um, what what you can go through is you see price do something, but it's not your trade. It's not what you're trading. But then you want to take advantage of it. So then your mind starts manufacturing all these different trades, and statistics just go right out the window because you're not trading that one trade that's going to pay off. So for me, with the higher low, lower high scalper, if it's not a trade, it's just going to put that big skull up. Don't do it. Oh, and by the way, this is a donational indicator. It'll come out in the next batch. But you can see right here on this last event here on M1, it came down, it put in a one ball actually inside of this area. Could have taken that trade, or you could have waited, taken the trade here, and it would have paid off nicely. The previous one, there was an opportunity here to pick up a few pips short, puts the one ball, you see the one ball, get out, it comes back. And one of the things I've noticed about this, and actually that wasn't a trade because there's the lower high or higher low dots right there, but here was the trade. A lot of times price will come through and it'll return and then continue. And so I've been putting limit orders once price gets two or more pips away. I'll put a limit order here, so if it touches it and takes off, I'm in the trade. So, fellow traders, I hope you like the TRO spread alert indicator. You may or may not want to use it. I hope maybe I answered the one trader's question about, hey, I'm having problems with exit. Just take a pip. Because remember, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.